microphones in here, I think.
Let go, mate.
Who would like to start? If I could get people to put their hands up when they want to ask a question, that would be great.
George, can you just talk about the excitement of getting the nod for probably the biggest game of your life so far?
Yeah, look, got a different role this week than I had to last week. But my job for the team doesn't change in terms of whether I'm starting or whether I'm finishing. What I do in the week, what I do on match day is all for hoping making the team win and doing my job. And yeah, like I said, a bit of a different role this week, but all 31 of us have had a role again, and 23 are lucky enough to take the field at weekend, so we're hugely excited as a group.
George, just wondering when you had the chat with the Wallabies, was it mentioned that if you guys went through, you might be starting with the All Blacks in the semi?
Nope. No, look, I think it goes for all the lads really. We don't find out selection until this morning. So we train as hard as we can and try and prep as well as we can from Monday to Wednesday, and then we find out Thursday morning what our role is. Nothing to do with the week after, just what your specific role is that week. It's the same last week, it's the same this week. So I think Eddie mentioned it earlier. It's going to take all 23 lads to get this result at weekend. So we need to be somewhere near our best individually and as a team to do it.
Scotty, you've been involved in World Cup preparations with different nations. What's this journey been like for you?
This has been pretty special. So I mentioned, I think it was a week or two ago, that these 31 men, I've never had a harder working group. So I'll stand by that. They work as hard as any team, if not harder than I've seen. That's probably one of the strengths of the 31. The other thing is probably the togetherness. So it's something that Eddie's driven, and the fact that they socially get on well, they mix, and you see it, and there's competition. So that's probably the final thing. Eddie drives that competition. We compete hard on the field. Sometimes it gets a bit antsy, but it's sorted very, very quickly, and I think that's the strength of the squad.
Before the World Cup, you didn't change the system by putting in Richie Moanga and then going back fullback. How does that change things in the way they attack, and how do you assess those two guys as talented players?
Yeah, well, look, we're coming up against a team at weekend that have got threats all over the field, with Richie at 10 and Borden at fullback. They've got obviously some brilliant guys who can get the ball to space and dangerous, particularly off unstructured ball. So yeah, we're going to have to be on our toes. We're going to have to be alive in every moment of the game. But we're usually excited at what we can put out there again at weekend as well. We've got some threats across the park who hopefully we can get the ball in some space and some situations where they can show what they can do as well. So yeah, look, we understand the team we're coming up against. We've done a lot of work in terms of analysis on that, but we've also done a lot of work on ourselves as well. We want to enforce what we want to do on them.
Scott, I was just going to ask, having George in the back line, how that affects the kind of attacking structure of the side, and secondly, just overall, what's the point of difference do you think this England side has in terms of their attacking game, particularly in New Zealand?
Yeah, look, I'll answer the first one. Yeah, so with George, look, it doesn't change a lot, really. We've got players where we can slot in and out, and for this week we thought George was the best selection, best fit for the New Zealand game. The second thing is attack. I think it's for this team, I think it's the consistency of being able to have threats consistently. We consistently throw things at the defence to break them down. So that's probably the strength of this team.
Hi George. In your 60-odd caps, I think New Zealand is the only side that you haven't beaten out on the field. Does that make it harder to visualise, or in terms of the preparations that you're doing when, against all other nations, you've got a victory to relate to?
No, it doesn't. Look, it's a one-off game this weekend. It happens to be a semi-final of the World Cup, but individually, preparation-wise, team preparation-wise, nothing changes in terms of getting ourselves in the best position to go out there and win the game at weekend. And we massively believe that we can go and do that. We're confident, and the reason is we put pressure on ourselves in the week to be ready for it in terms of our preparation. That's where the most pressure comes for us as a group, in my opinion. That consistently, like Wisey said, day after day, we want to prepare as well as we can, knowing that we can get to the game on Saturday at 5 o'clock and put it out there with a clear mind and really go at them. So we're excited about it. Need more than one mic, right?
Yeah,
George, Eddie said that the both teams think about this game for the last 2 years and a half. What does it mean for you thinking a game for 2 years and more?
Well, we've had a few games in 2 years to think about, so it's not the only one. But look, the coaches obviously plan really well for whatever the outcomes may be. I think for as a player, the one thing that you need to be is in the moment as much as possible, and whatever that situation is. So we started thinking about New Zealand when we saw the Ireland-New Zealand result on Saturday night. Before that, it was all about Australia, because you've just got to take each step as it comes, otherwise you might come unstuck a little bit. So yeah, since Saturday night we've thought a lot about the New Zealand game coming up, but pre that it's taking each step as it comes and making sure that we get over that hurdle first.
George, I was just wondering if you could give a little bit of insight into the impact that Scot has had on the side and how you attack, and the impact it's had both individually and collectively.
Yeah, well, I think you can see since Wisey's come in, the variety of our game, in terms of different ways which we can attack, has gone through the roof, to be quite honest with you. So it's a game now, rugby union, where you need to be able to have the ability to run, to shift the ball via passing, and you need to have a kicking game as well. And I think for me as a fly half, and I'm sure the rest of the team and the backs would agree with this, that the way we train and what Wisey pushes each week has put us in a position where we can do all three of them things, and then it's about us making decisions on the field to do it. And that's what Wisey and the coaches are brilliant at, putting us in positions and situations at training to make them decisions. The amount of tries the back three have scored, the wingers have scored recently, whether that is through passing or kicking, and I think speaks for itself. So we massively enjoy working with Wisey and the rest of the coaches.
Scott, how is Johnny May after that hamstring injury? Were you always confident he'd be fit to start on Saturday, and how important is he from an attacking point of view?
Firstly, now you can understand why George got selected, so thank you. Johnny's well. Johnny's fine. So he wouldn't have been named if he wasn't right. So he's okay.
Scott, I know obviously you're still with England for a while and got a big game this week, but just looking further down the track, there's a vacancy with Wallabies. Your name is one of the names that's been thrown out at the moment. Are you at all interested in the job? Has this week and some of the criticism that Michael has got changed your opinion at all about it? And do you have any thoughts about whether Australia needs an Australian coach?
Firstly, I'm contracted here or I'm a consultant here until November 2nd. On November 6th, I'm a school teacher. I'm a casual teacher. That's what I do. I go home and I become a casual teacher. I might teach agriculture, I might teach music, I don't know what I've got yet. That's it for the short term. So after that, I don't know. But the one bloke that I will sit down and have a chat to is Eddie Jones. Yeah, we'll chat after that.
George, Eddie spoke at length on Tuesday about more pressure on the All Blacks. Steve Hanson's just said today that he thinks Eddie's done that to take the pressure off you guys. Would you agree with that? Has it taken the pressure off you guys?
Oh look, it's a semi-final of a World Cup. It's had a pretty pressurised game, isn't it? Really, for both sides. But we wouldn't want to be anywhere else. We said that as a group of players earlier. Where else would we rather be than playing in a semi-final of a World Cup against New Zealand? And if we can't get excited about that, if we can't embrace that, if we can't have the mindset to really attack that, then we shouldn't be in the position we're in. So look, it's going to be a game probably decided on fine margins. But like I said, it's one that we're really excited about. And yeah, of course it's a pressurised situation, it's a pressurised game, but we enjoy the pressure. We want to embrace it, and I think we will do.
Okay, thank you everyone.
Thanks everyone.